15-Minute Mondays, your kickstart to week high-energy 15-minute episode on the Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Daniel Greg Johnson. Let's get right into it. Hello everybody, welcome back on the Success Blueprint. It is 15-Minute Monday time. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Thanks for coming back and listening to yet another episode on the 15-Minute Monday. I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me the time of your day to listen. And today we're going to make it quick and easy again. Today we talk about the art of strategic quitting and why winners know when to walk away. Winners quit intelligently. That's what I'm telling you, tribe. We've been conditioned to believe that persistence is always noble and that quitting equals failure and that never give up is the highest form of discipline. But what if I want to tell you that belief is the very reason you're stuck? So that's what I'm bringing to you today. So stay with me, buckle in, let's get this going. Sometimes quitting isn't weakness, it's precision. Because real strength, tribe, isn't in holding on. It's in knowing what's worth holding on to. So in this episode, I want to dismantle one of the most dangerous cultural myths that grit alone guarantees success. It doesn't. Direction does. And it's something that I work on with my clients a lot. Clarity, direction. And when your effort is pointed at the wrong target, persistence becomes self-sabotage dressed as loyalty. This conversation will teach you the art of quitting strategically, how to decide when to exit, and how to reinvest your freed bandwidth into something that compounds rather than consumes. What's the problem here? What are we dealing with here? Most people don't fail because they quit too early. They fail because they stay too long in relationships, unhealthy work environments, you name it. They cling to businesses that no longer scale, relationships that no longer align, careers that no longer fit, not out of faith, but out of fear. Fear of judgment, of regret, of wasted effort. The problem is that society glorifies endurance, but rarely rewards discernment. We are praised for pushing through, even when the path has no payoff. We mistake sunk costs for commitment. We mistake endurance for identity. If you've ever said, I've come too far to turn back now, then this episode is your permission slip to ask the harder question. But am I still heading in the right direction? And that's a big one right here, tribe. Let me share with you what it costs of staying stuck too long in this loop. Time. You lose the one asset you'll never recover. Every unnecessary year in a wrong pursuit delays the right one. Your energy, the emotional drag of misaligned effort compounds faster than any return on persistence. Your credibility, a leader or a person who can't cut losses becomes one who can't lead transformation, whether in work or in your life. And opportunities. When your bandwidth is locked in maintenance mode, innovation dies. Let me tell you this, quitting late is not noble. It's expensive. The most painful part, you call it loyalty, but your future will call it delay. Every hour spent maintaining what no longer matters is an hour stolen from what could. So let's get to the interesting part and let me share with you a 5-step framework with clear action steps so that you can turn this narrative around. Step number 1, run the truth test. Ask, if I discovered this today, knowing what I now know, would I still start it? If the answer is no, that's your signal. Not to abandon immediately, but to reevaluate with honesty instead of ego. What action can you take here? Write down 3 projects, goals, or relationships currently draining energy. Rate each by truth. How much of it still aligns with your current identity, not your past ambition? When truth replaces nostalgia, clarity emerges. Quitting starts with intellectual honesty and not emotion. Step number 2, apply the traction test. Progress is the only credible metric of potential. Passion without progress is emotional theater. What action can you take here? Audit your last 90 days. Has measurable progress occurred? Or are you repeating the same motion with diminishing returns? If effort no longer produces movement, persistence becomes paralysis. The traction test forces you to separate commitment from stagnation. One builds endurance, the other builds excuses. Step number 3, run the time test. Time is the most objective mirror. What action can you take here? Define a deadline for meaningful results. 6 months, 1 year, whatever fits your domain. If no measurable improvement occurs by that mark, you pre-commit to pivot. This approach eliminates emotional decision-making. You're not quitting impulsively, you're operating by pre-agreed logic. Great leaders and people don't abandon on impulse. They exit by design and clarity. Step number 4, design a soft landing. Strategic quitting isn't burning bridges, it's building runways. What action can you take here before exiting? Identify what must be transferred, documented, or communicated to protect relationships and reputation, whether at work or in your personal life. A graceful exit earns compound credibility. It shows maturity, foresight, and respect. The hallmarks of leadership and being a good, decent human being. Leaving well is harder than staying poorly, but it's also what preserves your integrity and future alliances. Step number 5, reinvest freed bandwidth with intent. There's no point in freeing up time and doing nothing with it. The goal of quitting isn't escape, it's reallocation. What action can you take here? List 3 high-return areas where your free time, focus, or capital can now flow. Skill development, new strategy, relationships that energize. Energy without direction creates noise. Quitting intelligently converts it back into power. You don't get more hours, but you can reclaim wasted ones. So what's the deeper meaning here? Why does this matter? Strategic quitting is the art of protecting your future from your past. Persistence without periodic pruning leads to burnout. Every system, biological, corporate, or emotional, needs renewal. Even nature quits through season. Winter is the planet reset protocol. If you never stop, you never grow, because growth requires space. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do isn't to hold the line, it's to release it. You don't lose when you quit what's wrong. You lose when you continue what's misaligned. Reed Hastings, the co-founder of Netflix, abandoned his first company after realizing the DVD by mail model was becoming obsolete. The courage to quit early is what created space for streaming, an entire industry shift born from strategic surrender. There you got it. That's the best example here. A client of mine, an executive in financial services, kept investing emotional capital into a partnership that looked stable on paper but felt dead in reality. We applied the 3 tests: truth, traction, and time. And within 90 days, she exited gracefully, reinvested in innovation, and doubled her team's revenue stream by the end of the year. That's how you do it. Let me give you some advanced strategies today again. Exit design framework. Before leaving any project, define 3 deliverables: closure, continuity, and clarity. Closure ensures emotional completion. Continuity preserves reputation. And clarity sets your next mission. You can do that for business, entrepreneurship, relationships, friendships, it doesn't matter. The ego separation exercise. Ask, if no one ever knew I quit this, would I still hold on? If reputation is the only reason you're staying, you're serving ego, not excellence. And then the bandwidth reinvestment map. Once you quit, schedule where your newly free time will go within 48 hours. Idle bandwidth becomes relapse fuel. Now let me give you your weekly challenge for immediate implementation. This week, pick one area of friction, a habit, project, or relationship, and run the truth, traction, and time tests. If you can't remember, rewind, write it down, do it, and thank me later. If all 3 fail, begin designing your exit plan. Define a soft landing, write your final communication draft, and identify where your energy will go next. And by Sunday, ask, What could grow if I stopped feeding what's already dead? That's a big one right here and can change everything, tribe. And my call to action for you to support me and to help me grow the tribe, if this episode challenged your definition of strength, share it. Someone in your circle is holding on when they should be letting go. And you know this is the truth, and you can most probably count on one hand at least 3 to 4 people that need to hear exactly that. So copy the episode link, send it on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, TikTok, wherever you communicate. And then subscribe, review, and join me next Monday again for another reframe that sharpens how you think, decide, and lead. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you coming around all the time. And let's not forget our sponsor, Doc Marty Mushrooms. Your brain and body can't discern courage from chaos without clarity. That's why this episode is supported by Doc Marty Mushrooms, precision engineered blends for focus, calm, and sustained energy. Marty's obsession with health mirrors the topic, knowing when to simplify, detox, and rebuild. So head over to docmarty.com and use the code DAN20, DAN20, for a 25% exclusive to the Success Blueprint discount on your first purchase. Don't wait. Head over to docmarty.com. You won't regret it. And as always, tribe, I will leave you with one thought in closing. Sometimes the most productive act isn't addition, it's subtraction. Because real winners don't cling, they curate. And every intelligent quit is not an ending. It's the clean space where your next chapter begins. I hope you enjoyed this. This was Daniel Craig Johnson, your host on the Success Blueprint, with my promise, I'll be back. Take care, tribe.